Emergency medical services calls in Singapore rose by almost 12% last year from 2020, with about 585 calls per day amid the COVID-19 pandemic. While non-emergency calls also went up, false alarm calls continued its decline since 2019. And that's according to latest data from the Singapore Civil Defence Force. Here's a closer look. Now, there were more than 198,900 emergency calls last year, an increase of 13% from 2020. SCDF says it's due to a surge in COVID-19 related calls from last September to November. It received some 63,000 calls in these 3 months alone, 36.5% higher than the same period in 2020. Now, about 80% of emergency calls received were medical related for conditions like cardiac arrest and loss of consciousness. Trauma cases, including falls and assaults, accounted for close to 16%. The rest were related to road traffic accidents. Now, after falling from more than 10,000 in 2019 to about 8,830 in 2020, non-emergency calls went up to 9,050 last year. The service puts this down to the increase in the number of suspected COVID-19 cases at the time of call. Many were later assessed to be non-emergencies and did not need to be sent to hospital. As for false alarm cases, these went down by about 8% last year thanks to, quote, intensive ongoing publicity campaigns. Also down, the number of fires at residential premises. These fell by about 4% to 1,010 last year from 1,054 the year before. The fires were mainly the result of unattended cooking and overloading of electrical sockets. On the flip side, there were more fires at non-residential premises like commercial and industrial buildings. These rose by 7.5%, 415 cases in 2021 compared to 386 in 2020. To ensure that people have access to new emergency procedures, the latest edition of the Civil Defence Emergency Handbook was launched today. Key updates include what to do when you come across fires involving solar panels or electric vehicles.
It consists of general fire safety tips, including practical steps on how to make our homes fire safe. This is on top of other essential life-saving skills such as basic firefighting, first aid and CPR.